Okay, in these videos we're going to be looking at some of the strengths and weaknesses of supply side policies. So the first video we're going to look at the strengths. So basically what you want to be able to do is you need to be able to articulate what combination of the policy mix, so monetary policy, budgetary policy, which are referred to as the demand management policies, as well as supply side policy, many of which are included in the budget, is most appropriate to try and tackle some of the goals and to try and achieve an improvement in living standards. So in order to analyse the effectiveness of aggregate supply policies, we need to look at the strengths and weaknesses, which will help the government determine which initiatives should be used in the policy mix to support each of the economic goals. So in the first video, we're going to look at the strength of supply side policies. For the first strength of the supply side policies is its ability to tackle all the goals simultaneously. So it helps us to achieve strong and sustainable economic growth and full employment, but it does so without jeopardising the goal of low inflation, which is something that the demand policies struggle to do. So the benefit of supply side policies or aggregate supply policies is their ability to simultaneously achieve all the government goals in the long run. It allows for stronger growth, stronger employment, but also with lower prices or slow growth in prices. So they are able to stimulate the economy via an improvement in efficiency and international competitiveness, which is different from just trying to stimulate aggregate demand, which should help ensure growth and increased employment alongside lower inflation. Supply side policies are the best for simultaneously achieving each of the three goals. E.g., and provide some examples about achieving the goals simultaneously. So if we spend money on training and education, we can improve the productivity of labour, which will help to increase output, which will achieve strong and sustainable economic growth, but will also help to achieve reduced costs of production, which will help to achieve low inflation, and will increase the employability of labour, which improves full employment. Therefore, it also improves our international competitiveness, which will create jobs in the long term. So there's your policy, education and training, and then linking it to each of the three goals. Increased output because we're better at what we do, lower prices because of reduced costs of production, because of increased productivity, and increased employability of labour, reduced structural unemployment, which helps to increase full employment. Bang, all three of the goals all simultaneously achieved. You could look at the same thing with infrastructure spending. Infrastructure spending creates jobs in both the short and long term through construction in the short term, then in the long term through increased international competitiveness. It helps to reduce inflation because it reduces bottlenecks and capacity constraints, and helps to increase growth because we're able to generate greater levels of output because of our improved infrastructure and facilities. They can focus on particular sectors of the economy. So we refer to monetary policy being as a blunt instrument. It can't help improve particular sectors. It can only lower interest rates across the entire economy. It's ineffective at trying to solve the problems with a two-speed economy. Supply side policies can focus on particular industries. They can try and target poor performance in particular industries, which should help to improve economic performance. So for example, if there's a drought that affects farmers predominantly and those in the agricultural sector, they can give wage subsidies. They can give subsidies for farmers or concessions to help them to get past that, to help them to lower their production costs so they can remain viable in the long term because it's an area where we have comparative advantage. Wage subsidies for youth or older unemployed citizens, so there's a high level of unemployment amongst certain sectors of the economy or demographics within the economy, they can help to promote employment in those areas. If there's an inadequate amount of research and development taking place, they can give tax concessions and try and promote innovative ideas or try and improve health amongst society, and that will help to boost our supply potential. So they can be very specific in terms of who they target, what areas they target, and help to address problems that are occurring in particular sectors of the economy. They are able to address specific problems. So if there's too much traffic congestion and bottlenecks in the economy, bang, we can increase infrastructure spending, and in the long term, that will allow us to transport more goods and services. So if there's particular problems with the lack of quality of our capital resources, they are able to target that specifically. If there are specific skill shortages in particular sectors, so if there's not enough chefs in the economy, if there's not enough miners, if there's not enough engineers, they're able to, through skilled migration, target particular sectors where there are concerns. So you need, when you're talking about supply side policies and their ability to target particular sectors of the economy, elaborate on that. Talk about specific examples, whether it be wage subsidies, whether it be subsidies to farmers, whether it be more investment into research and development, whether it be traffic congestion, whether it be skill shortages in a certain area. They are very effective in target particular sectors of the economy. They can help solve structural problems that aggregate policies can't. So they are able to target ongoing structural problems within the economy. So what we mean by that is supply side problems, whether that a lack of productivity or an inefficiency in resource allocation. Using supply side measures to increase efficiency in the use of resources can help to slow cost inflation. They can make producers more willing and able to lift national output and grow our productive capacity. In the long term, by assisting producers to be more efficient and internationally competitive, they can keep production costs down. They can encourage new firms to start up or existing firms to expand or avoid closure, and therefore help reduce structural unemployment. So basically, by targeting structural problems in the economy, they should be able to solve long-term issues rather than just the sort of quick fix approach that demand policies sometimes achieve. That can lead to, again, helping for our economy to grow in the long term by addressing these structural unemployments. They can set us up to be more internationally competitive, to have lower cost structures, to encourage firms to expand, which will all help to reduce structural unemployment in the long term. They face fewer conflicts or trade-offs than some of the demand management policies. So aggregate supply policies generally face fewer dilemmas or conflicts between the pursuit of different economic goals. So what I mean by that is demand policies like monetary policy have to weigh up promoting jobs and growth as opposed to helping to keep inflation under control. Aggregate supply can slow inflation without slowing economic growth or causing a rise in unemployment. So aggregate supply policies can effectively target each of the goals at the same time, so there's less trade-offs between promoting one goal and another. Aggregate supply policies can also boost the sustainable rate of economic and employment growth without adding to inflationary pressures. So it's really important that aggregate supply policies, and this is similar to achieving all the goals simultaneously, it's about having less conflicts than potentially demand management policies. There are still some conflicts. Some supply side policies cost money, so there can be a conflict with fiscal consolidation, but they have less conflicts than some of your demand management policies. And finally, a lot of market-based incentives. So if the supply policies are related to getting rid of government intervention, they can have a big impact on efficiency, whilst also achieving fiscal consolidation. So some policies about removing government intervention can help to improve efficiency, improve our aggregate supply potential, but can also help with fiscal consolidation by removing government intervention in the market and potentially removing government costs in some instances. That's it.